Hi everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Fly Tante. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so you'll get notifications when I add new content. Remember that there are three parts to the YouTube channel. There are the videos where you are finding me here. There are the shorts, which are videos under 2 minutes. And then you have my posts where I have photos and more detailed descriptions of some of the places I have visited and the things that I am seeing. So I hope you'll come back often and view my channel. Today, as I said, in addition to travel, I'll be featuring fashion and home design. So today for me, this room is one of the most important rooms in my house because my entire home was built around this dining room. In fact, I purchased this house because I wanted a place that could feature my dining room. I had it actually before we moved in this home in 1998. This dining room set was made in a place called Grand Bassam, which is right outside of Abidjan in the Ivory Coast. Many of the artisans are actually from Ghana, but they do the most amazing work you can imagine. And so I purchased this dining room set in the mid-1990s and brought it home one chair at a time until I got it all here. If family members came to visit, they had to bring a chair along with them. Some of the most interesting design features of this dining room set, first of all, you'll note that there are elephants on the back. And if you've been following me, you know that I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and so one of the things we do is collect elephants. So this is an elephant, and they're on the backs of all of the chairs. But what you may not have noticed is that the front legs of the chairs are designed like the trunks of an elephant. And I thought that was a really unique feature. In addition to the trunks, on the head table, on both ends you will find a picture. So on this side is the woman, and on the other chair there is a man. And so this at the time suggested that this was where I sat and that was where my ex-husband sat. You will also note that there are pedestals supporting the table, and all of those are carved all the way around. This glass top actually I found at Marlowe's many, many years ago. So it really blended in well. I'm going to get to the piece on the table in a minute, but I want to continue to show you some of the other features here. One time I happened to go back to the Ivory Coast and I had an idea to design a mirror. So I went to one of the artisans and asked him, I only had 3 days in the country, so I said, you know the chairs that you made for me, if you could make me a mirror and just put maybe the elephants in the 4 corners in the 3 days. When I went back in 3 days, this was what I found, and he had done a fantastic job. You will also note that everything I have is made in pieces. And this is because it enables me to be able to put it in my luggage and carry it on the plane. Everything that I have in my home actually came on the plane with me. Nothing was ever shipped. This piece, once I got it back home, I had to go to a wood carving shop. There are pegs that fit the pieces together, so I had to have them put together correctly. Then they had to put a backing on it. And then I had to roll it down. Fortunately, there was a mirror store not far from the wood carving shop, and they dropped a mirror in it. I had to have someone with a truck come and pick it up. This mirror probably weighs 400 pounds, and it had to be hung in the studs in the wall. But needless to say, this is a perfect place for it, and it fits so well with the rest of my design. People are always amazed by this ceiling fan and how much it fits in with the rest of the decor here. And this ceiling fan actually just came from Home Depot around the corner, and it just happened to match perfectly. And so that was really a great buy. There are a few other things in this room. As you will know, this picture is from Nigeria. There's some other things on the wall. This picture is from our trip to Cuba, which I absolutely love. Everywhere you move in the room, her eyes follow you. We purchased these when we were on our trip to Cuba. The artist had just passed away, and so we bought all of his final pieces. This is made from coffee beans, from tobacco leaves, and from the soil. And I just love this picture. It's absolutely outstanding to me. What you find featured here is Fiesta ware. Fiesta ware has been around since 1935. Many of you may be familiar with it because they still make Fiesta ware in a community in West Virginia. But I used to eat on these with my aunt and uncle when I was a child. And so I had my favorite color. They each had their favorite colors. When she passed away, I received some of these dishes. And it was at that time that I understood that they were actually collectible. So I started collecting the original 6 colors, which were made between 1935 and 1937. And I have been to probably every antique mall and flea market on the East Coast looking for pieces of Fiesta ware. I have probably over 400 pieces in total. This is just a part of my collection. There's some on the side here, on both sides, and then there's some in my kitchen, which I use on a daily basis. So I just love my Fiesta ware. Just a few other quick things in this dining room area. This is probably one of the first pieces of African art that I ever purchased, and this was during one of our very early trips to Ghana. I don't remember where we purchased it from, but as you can see, the artist's name is Cote. And this is a market scene of women, but it's almost three-dimensional in that the clothing they're wearing is actual fabric, and the baskets are made from actual wood. And so I really love that piece. I want to also draw your attention to this piece. This is from Uganda, and it's made of metal. And I just love the movement, the motion of him beating the drums and of her dancing. The frames are from Michaels, and if you know anything about art, there's one thing to have a beautiful piece of art, but the framing really tells the story. So that was framed. This piece is from Brazil. This was a gift from my goddaughter when she traveled to Brazil a few years ago. And so I thought that fit really nicely here. And then this last piece is another market scene, and this comes from the Ivory Coast. Again, I don't remember exactly where I purchased it, but it was from the Ivory Coast. So these are some of the features in my dining room area that I wanted to share with you. And I think for me, the piece de la resistance is my piece from Woodrow Nash. Some of you may be familiar with him. He's an African-American artist from Ohio. His pieces are featured at the Whitney Plantation, which was where I first encountered him. He has done a series called The Children of Whitney. And Whitney Plantation is located outside of New Orleans, and you can find his pieces of the children all throughout that property. My girlfriends and I took a road trip a few years ago, and we were at a museum, and someone suggested that we stop at E&S Gallery. And he said, I guarantee you're going to buy something. And we said, yeah, right. We did not come here to buy anything, but we'll be happy to go to the gallery. We went to the gallery, and he was opening maybe 10 or 15 new Woodrow Nash pieces, and we all fell in love with them. We didn't buy them at that time. We continued on our road trip. We went all through the South and into Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we went to Little Rock, Arkansas. But this piece haunted me the entire time. When I got home, I was calling Walter to say, I have to have that piece. And each of us bought a piece. And it was after I bought this Woodrow Nash that I changed the design for my entire home, which I will also show you some other highlights shortly. But again, I hope you have enjoyed this today. As I said, I just love my home. I love the work of the artisans in Africa and around the world. It's unfortunate I was in Grand Bassam last year in April, and it really is a shell of what it used to be. So there, development has come to the area, new highways and new housing. So it's moved a lot of the original artisans out of their spots where I used to find them. And the prices have become really unaffordable at this point in time. But I'm so glad that in the 90s I was able to make these purchases. And I have enjoyed them, as have my friends and family ever since. So again, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoy some of my design ideas. Please feel free to comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, that's all from the Fly Tante.